These people are not documented. Their passports are not stamped. I don't even know if they have passports. It seems that they were chased out by the Israelis without paperwork, and they landed at OR Tambo. Home Affairs went and contacted the Department of, I think, International Relations, I think led by Ronald Lamula, if I'm not mistaken, to waive the requirements of them needing paperwork to get into South Africa and the country. I think about 23 of them have moved on to other countries. The rest are here in South Africa. Imtiaz Suleiman, the leader of Gift of the Givers, is one of the people that's assisting with these guys with humanitarian aid, food and the likes. And it seems like everyone is, at least at the highest levels, is sort of okay with Palestinians being here illegally. So they traveled illegally, they landed here illegally, but South Africa and the South African governments are saying, sharp, sharp, you guys can stay here, it's okay. There's a reason probably why Thabo Mbeki said to Mboiseni Ndlozi that you can't stop illegal foreigners coming into South Africa, specifically Africans at the time. But I'm reminded, and you know, I try my best to not get triggered and emotional about South Africa and South African politics. I'm reminded that this country does not belong to the citizens. Where organizations like Operation Dudula, March and March, led by Jacinta Ngobese Zuma, are trying to kick out undocumented illegal foreigners in South Africa, the government at the highest level seems to not have a problem bringing in even more undocumented illegal foreigners into South Africa, claiming that they are asylum seekers and refugees. If you ever have a moment, please go onto the world map and look at where Palestine is, and then look at all the Arab countries around it. Look at maybe even all the African countries around it. Palestine is incredibly far from South Africa. Why would they come here? I start thinking about the ICJ case. I start thinking about the accusations that the ANC is funded by Iran. I start thinking about, I'm forgetting the name now. But the idea that, no, I start thinking about Manali Dipando. This country clearly is a playground for any international interests who probably just pay anyone in the ANC or anyone in the DA to allow them to do whatever they want here. It's the reason why we have drug mafias. It's the reason why we have Eastern European gang leaders and drug lords here. It's the reason we have so many Zimbabweans, Mozambicans. It's the reason Israelis can buy property in Cape Town easily, why the Arabs can buy land in the Eastern Cape so easily. It's a party. We have Bangladeshis, we have Pakistanis, we have Sri Lankans, we have Ethiopians, Somalians, we have Nigerians. We literally have people from all over the world who come here and do as they please. And when ordinary South African citizens who are lied to and told that the Constitution serves them and told that we respect South African law, when they cry out, NPOs come running, government comes running, and they say, no, human rights. No, the Constitution protects everyone who lives in it. It doesn't matter if people are undocumented. It doesn't matter if people are criminals. It doesn't matter if there's issues. Abo Pastor Bushiri get to do whatever the hell they want here. I'm just raising this again because if you hadn't heard, there are over 150 Palestinians that landed illegally at the South African airport OR Tambo. You have to ask who okayed and cleared for them to land. Without paperwork, many of the NPOs or some of the NPOs and governments at the highest levels gave them a green light to say, you guys can land and you guys can come out. And we'll take care of you and we'll sort you out. When they could have gone to any other country in the Middle East, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, they could have gone to parts of Asia, India, they could have gone to other parts of Africa, but they came to South Africa because this country is not designed to serve the citizens. I keep posting on Twitter. South Africa is a company. South Africa is a company and it is not owned by you, the ordinary voter. It is owned by the wealthy, particularly the Oppenheimers who are proxy for the UK and America, the Ruperts as well, and many others. This country doesn't belong to you, and we're reminded almost every day, every week, that the South African government, the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, who's constantly AWOL and constantly shot at things, this country is not here to serve you. And I think more than anything, they keep gaslighting the citizens to say, let's see how far we'll push you before you guys really revolt against government and revolt against the rich that fund the government from all parts of the world. Maybe it makes sense now why Donald Trump, Rubio, I think Marco Rubio is his name, why they said they're not coming to South Africa to the G20. why the president of Argentina, Milei, is also not coming to South Africa, because it's getting clear that this country is a free-for-all for any international body, legal or illegal or however set up, to say, go to South Africa, they can sort you out. They'll speak about human rights and the like. And who knows, there's probably a lot of people that are getting money in their back pockets behind closed doors. Very scary stuff, but we're here now. We're here now.
Organization with links to the Israeli intelligence. They basically bust all these people across to an airbase in Israel, then on a chartered flight from there to Nairobi with no stamp in their passport, and then a chartered flight from Nairobi to here. And I should just say that Lift Airlines carried them from Nairobi to here without an exit stamp in their passport, which is really problematic. Almost all these people didn't know where they're going to end up. Some of them were told they're going to end up in India, some in Indonesia, some in Malaysia, and they all end up in Joburg. And so the issue for border management here was that there's a group of people that have arrived, and those who organized the charters, etc., were nowhere to be seen. No one there to contact, and they arrived here. They had no return tickets. They had no exit stamp in their passport. They had no accommodation booked. And border management said that this was a problem. And when people then said that they wanted to apply for asylum, they didn't grant that request. And the Minister of Home Affairs didn't want to allow them in. By late evening, around 7, 8 o'clock, the president made a decision that they would be allowed in. Some of these people are going to leave. They have family in other parts of the world. As I said, they didn't know they're going to end up here, so they will go. And others will be seeking asylum. So this is not illegal immigration. I mean, they have been properly processed by border management. If they apply for asylum, I mean, you can apply for asylum even if you don't have a passport, right? So if they apply for asylum, they'll be properly processed, and there won't be anything illegal about it. From our side, as the civil society collective, our role is to ensure that they are okay while all of this is taking place. So they're being taken now, you'll see, to accommodation in different parts of the city. There's transport organized for them to go. There's food being organized for them. Remember that these are all people who came here after 2 years of a genocide. I mean, these children, these little kids running around, lived the past 2 years. I mean, some of them are under 2 years old, with bombs falling on their heads every day, dropped by the Israelis, intent on murdering all of them. And so they need psychological services, other medical and we're going to arrange all of that kind of thing. So all of that will be sorted out while the legalities around their status takes place. We are calling on the South African government to investigate this whole thing. The fact that people are shipped off in this kind of way with no exit stamp, they were not allowed to take any bags, no clothes, nothing. All they were allowed to take was a cell phone, passport and some cash.
جايين من غزة هربين من الموت على جنوب أفريقيا. الحكومة في جنوب أفريقيا مش راضي تستقبلنا. احنا هنا عالقين في المطار نرجو المساعدة.
It's quite disturbing, and I think the best way is to await the investigation. I think the investigation should be carried at two fronts. One is domestically, that this is a government of national unity, whether it is speaking with one voice or not, given the fact that our foreign policy is under ANC, while the Home Affairs is under DA. We need to understand whether there were any implication based on that or not. The second front of investigation is to the circumstances in which they left. Whether the Israelis allegation made by other NGO bodies that claim it was a deliberate move, whether that is true or not. But in a normal circumstance, any plane that takes off going to another country, there are lots of communication. You know who is coming into your country, and the circumstance in which, and therefore it's quite shocking that the government did not know the circumstances in which they came. And therefore, I think at this stage, circumstances and on the eve of G20, it's just a wait and see. However, I think the government has to improve communication to ensure that the public is quite aware before the arrival of groups such as
And to be clear, we don't yet know how much the South African government knows about the unfolding situation. We're going in the main on a statement from Gift of the Givers that says government was aware, the International Relations Department was aware, and that there'd been, according to the organization, some sort of agreement to waive the requirement around the necessary stamps when you depart a foreign country to be allowed to get into South Africa, right? But given that context, does that put the South African government on the back foot regarding this situation and how it's going to unfold, or at least, at the very least, be perceived?
Yeah, and if that is the case, it's even worst case, because it appears that the government is not speaking with one voice. And under normal circumstance, if the Foreign Affairs, DERCO in this particular, it's a lead department, if it has allowed for them to come in, it works with Home Affairs, and therefore there shouldn't have been any technical issue, given the fact that there is a humanitarian issue here. And therefore, I think it's good for South Africa to accept the refugees, but the communication remains a major challenge. You have to inform the public and way ahead of time so that we're not surprised, and facilitate the arrival so that this issues is not handled by any ordinary officer, but a special passage is created for them to come in without spending 10 hours at the airport.
That there's 160 refugees from Palestine that have just landed in OR Tambo. And apparently this is not the first plane. It seems like it's the third one. So because there was, or it's the third one or the second one. Apparently when the first one landed, there were people there who didn't have stamps, and so they couldn't be like checked in and brought in. So so they had to reach out to the Home Affairs for them to bypass the system and let the people in. You know, as you know, what is happening in Palestine with the genocide. So yeah, let me just share the clip. So we are getting refugees from Palestine, and people have offered their houses. Organizations have offered to help.
Welcome back to Gist Line. So these are people who have been running away from war, fear, and a very serious instability back home. They arrived hoping that South Africa, which is a country that has always talked about human rights and standing with oppressed people, would welcome them immediately. But instead, the story took a different turn. South African authorities reportedly kept these refugees inside the plane for hours before allowing them into the country. No water, no proper explanation, and no fast processing. They were just sitting there, tired and confused. And honestly, that move didn't look good for South Africa at all, because for a country that claims to stand with Palestine, this was not the kind of treatment people expected. If you are saying you support victims of violence, then at least handle their arrival with respect and urgency. You can't be shouting "Free Palestine" on one side and then making Palestinians, refugees, wait inside the plane like they are a problem. But at the same time, South Africa's reaction didn't just come out of nowhere. Let's be real and be honest. The country has been facing its own issues with undocumented migrants, fake asylum seekers, and foreigners coming in to cause trouble. Some people enter the country to commit crimes, run scams, or create tension with local communities. So South Africa is trying to be careful, and you can't really blame them for wanting to know exactly who is entering their borders. Still, the Palestinian situation is different, because these are war victims, not people that are flying in to hustle or cause chaos. South Africa could have handled the situation better by giving them fast-track humanitarian entry, doing quick basic checks, and then providing temporary shelters while processing their documents. Delaying them on a plane was so unnecessary and disrespectful. Right now, South Africa is in a tricky position, and they want to protect their borders, but they also want to support oppressed people around the world, especially Palestinians. The balance is not easy, but the way those refugees were treated didn't match the image South Africa is trying to project internationally. If South Africa truly stands with Palestine, then actions should match the words. Humanitarian cases deserve compassion, not hours of waiting on a plane like unwanted visitors. Well, the world is watching, and South Africa must decide how it wants to be seen. What's your thoughts about this? Do you think South Africans were right for keeping those people waiting for hours that long? Well, let me know what you think in the comment section. And if today is the first time joining my channel, please don't forget to like, share or subscribe.